everyone, and welcome to the Harvard Business School Online virtual event, and thank you for joining us today. I missed to facilitate the virtual events because I took a little bit break. I was on maternity leave. I still am on maternity leave, but I wanted to celebrate Black History Month as we do it every year at the Harvard Business School Online Global Chapter. So today we are celebrating Black History Month and two women with their achievements and challenges. Black History Month is an annual observance originated in the United States. It has received official recognition from governments in the United Kingdom, in Canada, Ireland. So right now I'm in Canada, and our participants are from all over the world. So it does not matter where are we right now. We all are celebrating Black history. Today, the global chapter team member Janita is here. Thank you, Janita, for helping us out. Janita will monitoring the chat. She will do her best to make this event more engaging and interactive. So please be as active as you can, and please keep your videos on. And if you have any questions, we will gonna have a Q&A session at the end of this event. So if you want to type in the chat your questions, please do so. And Janita will keep all those questions and will ask our participants at the end of the event. Today, I want to introduce Ijeoma, Nwakuche and Amaka Anowi, and I want to ask both of you to tell us a little bit about yourself. And then I have very interesting questions for both of you. And then we can get started. I'll ask questions. We'll wait for the interesting answers. And then at the end of this event, we will have a question and answer session. So I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to hearing your great achievements. I'm so happy that both Amaka and Ijeoma are the global chapter members, and they are joining my events frequently. And Janita, she is the global chapter team member. If you don't know yet, I'm going to have more team members, so we have more diverse and interesting events through the global chapter throughout the year. So I'm so excited that Janita is here today. Okay, let's get started. Let's start from Ijeoma. Hi, and thanks for joining us today, Ijeoma.
Hi, Gwen, and hi, everyone.
So tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us about your background. Where are you joining us from? Which course have you taken at Harvard, and what do you do right now?
Okay, so hi, everyone. Good evening, morning, wherever you are all across the world. So my name is Ijuma, and Gwen does a good job in trying to pronounce it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, don't worry. It's not too bad. You do a good job. So I'm Ijoma, and if I want to be nice, I give you an easy way out and say you can call me IJ. So IJ is easier.
Okay.
Yeah. I live in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Nigerian. I've lived in Lagos for about 12 years now, but I've lived in Nigeria for most of my life. I participated in the Harvard Online Business School course, Management Essentials, and that's where I met Gwen. That was in 2019. Time does fly, and we got our certificates in 2020. A bit of my background, I schooled in Nigeria. I studied geology in University of Port Harcourt in Nigeria. I went on to work in the oil and gas industry. I'm still in the oil and gas industry. I've been working in the oil and gas space for about 15 years now. I'm married with 3 lovely children. I'm a full-time mom.
Oh, wow.
Motherhood is full-time, trust me. I love to coach and mentor young female professionals, and it's part of who I am, because I have had sort of challenges, opportunities in my career, but altogether it's made it a rewarding career. And I feel like there's a place to actually help those younger than me. So I have a coaching club where I sort of mentor young female professionals in the field, and it's called the Purple Orchid. And I've been doing that for about over a year now. I'm doing that actively. Currently, I'm having my executive MBA done at Said Business School in Oxford. That keeps me quite busy in addition to all the other things that I do. But that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Ijeoma. While Amaka speaks about herself, do you want to share your social media links and maybe your coaching company's website so others can take a look and maybe join you?
Sure, I will.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So, Amaka, thanks for joining us today. And please tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you right now? Which course have you taken? And what do you do?
Okay, hi guys, good evening from Nigeria. My name is Amaka Anowi. Gwen does a pretty good job of pronouncing it, so I'll take it. There's no short form of saying Amaka, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
I live in Lagos, Nigeria as well. I grew up in Port Harcourt. I know Ijeoma's family, I think. Looking at her now, it's starting to come together. So probably have to,
well.
Yes.
Okay.
I think our parents were knights or at Samumba Mata Misericordia Church in Port Harcourt.
Definitely Mata, yes, Mata,
yes,
yeah.
so
Okay,
it's
we'll
coming together now. Yes. I currently work for a company called Micro Money. It's a fintech company. I've always been in finance. I worked in insurance. I worked in the bank for a couple of years. I've lived in Lagos now for over 10 years. Married to an amazing man. No child yet. Looking forward to having twins. Gwen knows the story. So, yeah, I've taken 2 courses at the Harvard Business School online. One of them is the global business, and the other was disruptive strategy with the very, very esteemed late Professor Christensen. I think I pronounced it wrongly, but I totally love him. So yeah, I think he passed on just before I took the course. So we had to learn with his recorded teachings from previous years, but it was lovely. Currently also running an MBA with the Queen Mary University of London, hopefully finish before the baby or babies come in.
This is exciting.
Yes.
So I think we have to ask Ijeoma, how does she manage her time? So you with your kids and I with my kids can manage this very challenging time of our lives.
It is. There's a lot of balls to juggle at the same time, honestly, but and 3 is a crowd there, trust me.
Oh, you know what I remember, Ijeoma, when I had you featured for the last year for the International Women's Day, I asked this question to you and you said you had some formula. I'm sorry, I forgot, but you said co-parenting or something like this. Co-parenting.
Oh, Gwen, you're amazing. You remember.
Yeah, of course. So you said co-parenting makes all possible. I remember that.
Absolutely. It's called the CAPS. Co-parenting for C for co-parenting. So your partner has to help. And if you're not married, get C for collaboration. You get friends to help. A for adaptability. And that helps you sort of also know when to change in seasons, check your priorities. P for priorities, actually. A for adaptability, P for priorities, and then S for support structure. So here you need to outsource the things that you can't do by yourself, get someone to do it, pay some fee for it so that you can focus on the things that you can do and you can excel at that. So I always use the CAPS formula, CAPS.
I love it.
Love it too.
So, Amaka, please take this time to share your social media channels or any website you want to promote through the global chapter. And I see here Janita shared our social media channel, so please do so while I'm asking the next question to Ijeoma. So Ijeoma, we've heard about your background. Is there anything you want to add that is not in your bio? Anything special you want to share with audience members?
Oh yeah, maybe I'll do one serious fact and one fun fact. I will start with the fun fact or the serious one. Which one? Which one should I do?
Let's start from fun fact.
Fun fact. Okay, so fun fact. My name Ijoma actually means safe journey. So like bon voyage, right?
Wow.
And my parents named me Safe Journey because they had to travel 3 weeks after I was born, and they were relocating to Brazil to live in Brazil. So that's another thing. I spent the first few years of my life in Brazil, and I think they thought, hey, we need to have a good trip, so they named me Safe Journey. But it means good trip in life, you know, also like as I journey through life, I should have a safe journey, a good journey. Yeah.
Oh, great. So Amaka, what do you think? Why is it important to celebrate Black History Month and achievements of Black professionals?
Simply put, I would say the importance of celebrating anything that is historical is if you do not know where you're coming from, you wouldn't know where to go. It's as basic and as simple as that. We Africans living in Africa do not celebrate the Black History Month, but it's important what's the word I'm looking for? In solidarity with our African brothers and sisters living in the diaspora who have experienced the evolution of the Black community in these countries. It's important to remember the achievements of great Black people who paved the way for everything that the Black African American enjoys today in the diaspora. So I think it's important to remember these people, remember what they've done, remember your history, where you're coming from. It should be taught in schools, in my opinion, because history is a very huge factor for growth, for sustainable growth. If you know where you're coming from, if you know how you came to be where you are, it'll help to navigate you better because you can, chart your course along the lines of people who've done this before. When you remember the sacrifices people have made, that even helps you not give up. It spurs you on. You just need the drive. So I think it's important, the Black History Month, like you said in your opening remark, it should be every day. It is every day even. I mean, fantastic that we're celebrating it in the month of February and in October for some countries, but every day the Black man and woman should celebrate the evolution and the success of where the Black people are today. And then to answer your second question, why it's important for professionals, I mean, it's also, like I said, there's a lot of history about Black people who have achieved so much in every spectrum, in every career, in every profession, even in the social sphere. So it's important to promote this culture so that in whatever field you find yourself, in whatever passions you think you want to pursue or dreams that you have, there's somebody who's been there before and has done it and has achieved it, so you can take mentorship from these people and that will give you the drive to just go. That's why I think it's important. Yes.
Great answer. Thanks, Amaka.
Absolutely, Gwen. Do you mind if I just sort of add to what Amaka has
please.
Well, yeah, I mean, Amaka, thank you so much for that. And you're 100% correct. And I think the beauty of celebrating Black History Month is sort of, we get the opportunity, right, to shine the spotlight on the contributions that Black people have or Black people have contributed all around the world. And if you don't take out time to be deliberate about it and be intentional about it, 10 years from now, we will have a narrative of Black history that we don't like. So what we're doing, and while we celebrate Black history about the things that happened in the past, we must remember that today is tomorrow's history. So everything that we're doing today is very important because we are writing the narrative in a very concerted effort so that when we look back again at Black history, it's with joy, it's with pride, it's with, and for me, it's an absolutely important celebration that should continue all year round, all day round, all year round, and thank you very much, Gwen and HBS Online for doing this.
I'm just putting some live updates on my Instagram page. You can follow me and see Ijeoma's and Amaka's short answers on my Instagram stories. So Ijeoma, who has been one big inspiration in your life?
Okay, so I mean, I have a lot of people that inspire me, but I mean, if I look through the theme of my life, I would say my mom. My mom is
and
one.
she's beautiful. I remember her birthday pictures, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Now I see who does Ijeoma look like. Oh my god!
Yes, I saw your very kind comment. She's an amazing woman. She's very strong. I grew up seeing what it meant to, and I guess that's why I'm able to balance motherhood and career. And it seems as though with ease, because my mom had 6 children, and I saw her. Yeah, yeah, she had 6
should
children.
record Ijeoma's mother to teach us how to manage our work life. And how
she would love to come on here and talk about it. In fact, I'm actually writing a book about her life story that's going to be published.
I'm serious, Ijeoma, because I'm going to have another Black History Month event. So I'm just serious to have her featured. And it's going to be, I'll let you know now, it's going to be next week. So just send me an email and we can talk about have her over. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, and as she turned 70 this year, I took time to reflect on her life, and she's just one person that has taught me courage. She's taught me authenticity. She's taught me diligence, and most of who I am today, I look back and I see that I learned from her. I feel like I had a mentor and a coach my whole life, as opposed to just a mom. So she's indeed my biggest inspiration, you know.
You're very lucky, and I think we'll be lucky to have her on our next event so we can learn more about her. Amaka, why is the success of the Black women professionals so important, and what does it really mean to be successful?
Before I start, happy belated birthday to your mom. 70 is a very significant birth age. My dad looked forward to 70 like it was the biggest thing ever, and he got to 70 before he passed on. So when you said your mom just turned 70, I was like, wow, you know, such a blessing to have your parents live up to 70. So happy birthday to her. I'll probably say to her when she comes on next week for the second feature of the Black History Month. So going to your question, why it's important for the success of Black women. Personally, one of my biggest inspirations is Dr. Okonji Ngoziwala. I think I said her name wrongly. I think women, we talked about earlier on about balancing motherhood and the professional life. I think women are superheroes. Women are naturally born to multitask, to take on multiple roles and be very good at it. And when I see women in the professional field who are successful in the family life as well, I just think, wow. So it's very important for me for a woman to be successful in her profession. Like I said, it's not streamlined to just white collar, blue collar jobs. If you see recently, Mo Abudu, she's the CEO of Ebony Live TV. I'm sure Ijuma knows who she is. She recently, has been just got added onto Harvard. And this is a woman who you would never think, because of her profession, you would never think she'll be affiliated with Harvard Business School because she's not a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer like Ijoma is, a geologist or the very famous professions. But this is somebody in entertainment. But she's built a brand, the first of its kind in Africa, sustained it over the years, over decades, and has managed to make it a household. She's made movies, she's trained other women, she's done enormous things in her field. And I think it's a lot of inspiration for the young, growing African woman. You can be whatever it is you want to be. Professionalism is just being an expert at what you do. It doesn't matter whatever it is that you choose to do, but becoming an expert in it. And you want the traditional African woman from history is trained to think more traditional domestic home roles. And it is inspirational to me to see women now starting to succeed in a field where it used to be the man's playing ground. So I think it's very important for the woman to be a professional and to be good at what she does as a professional. It's good for the young Black girls coming up to see that women, I'm very happy that Ijoma is married, been married for a number of years, has a family. Her mom just turned 70, 6 children. And then we have Gwen. I'm sure a lot of other women on here have the same story. We are already inspirational examples for the young growing Black woman, because we represent what the future is, which is everybody has a chance to be successful and everybody has a chance to be good at what they do. Yes, success is defined as being great or being good at what it is that you choose to do. And I would say for the Black woman, being successful is becoming the best version of what it is that you want to do. And of course, having mentors that have done it before, continue to excel in it, and continue to be inspired by them, to continue to grow. I think it is just it's just a beautiful thing to have. This is my personal vision. I personally, like Ijeoma said, want every Black girl to become a professional in whatever it is she wants to do. And I always look out for young girls who are trying to do this. In my company, I sometimes biasedly employ more women than men. When I get to sitting on interview panels and there's women and men, I tend to pay a lot of attention to the women on the board because I want to encourage the women folk. It's not because I feel like the world, society has helped the man grow for many years. I think it's time to inspire, push, encourage the young woman to become successful.
I think that's a great decision. And I want to mention it's about women professionals that in my company, 70% of speakers and business consultants are women professionals. And we're working very hard to increase the diversity percentage of our women professionals. And I'm so proud of this achievement because it's been, it will be 2 years in April since I established this company and since we reached this level of diversity. So it's 70%. As we're speaking about Black history, I want next question to ask Ijeoma. Ijeoma, share with us what's your perspective about Black history?
Okay, thanks, Gwen. So I'm going to take it from a different perspective because I think Amaka has done a fantastic job of, speaking about it from the broader sense of the word. And I want to take it to an African perspective. So Black history, we speak about Black history, obviously from the time after, the slaves arrived, America, and all the struggles and all the obstacles that they overcame. And today we have Black people all over the world doing mighty things. And I just sort of want to bring it back home about, I would call it the seed perspective. Like, when you see a beautiful tree, and you're looking at the tree and the flowers on it are beautiful and the leaves are beautiful and all of that. And you sort of think back at the seed that sowed that tree. I want to speak about something I call the African spirit. I feel like the beauty that we see today in the Black race, and even as we celebrate the Black History Month, it comes from this beautiful African spirit. And some of it is cultural from the things that we Africans have had the opportunity to have imbibed in our blood or in our system, as it were. So you see the typical Black man, and he's strong, he's resilient, you know, and we can think of many of these prominent people that we celebrate today, from Martin Luther King and co, you know, just never backing down, never taking no for an answer. And it speaks of, for me, I'm reminded during the Black History Month, I'm reminded of the strength of the African spirit, as it were. That spirit that just sort of, you know, doesn't give in, doesn't give up, through trials, through tribulations, through hurdles, you know, and just keeps forging ahead. And today you see that dominance and that prominence of a lot of Black people in the world today. And that's what Black history reminds me of. It reminds me of the culture that we have that, you know, has to do with community, right? There's a lot of integration, bonding amongst Africans, and it's something that is inherently in us. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. In Nigeria, for example, all over Africa, you see a lot of communities. There's this oneness, brotherliness, like you talk to your neighbor, you hug people that you don't know, you know, and this is something that we've always had way back from our culture. We used to live in small settlements and small cultural villages, right? And there was a lot of communal love. And I feel like that is the same thing that is connecting, even as it were, the Black Americans or the Black British, Canadians all over the world. And there's this sense of oneness in the African spirit. And today, and this month, I celebrate it as well, even as I celebrate Black history. I celebrate the richness and the diversity of Africans. If you come to Nigeria, if you come to Nigeria alone, then I'll take it to Africa. We have over 500 languages in Nigeria. So the richness of the culture, right? Over 250 culture. We're talking about different diet, different dressing, different food, different music, cultural practices, and all over Africa as well. And so you find out that the Black race is steep deep in the beautiful creativity that comes from the way our diversity is. And so when I think of Black history as well, I'm reminded that the beauty we see in creativity, and some of these people we celebrate in entertainment, in media, the Oprahs, the Beyoncés, or in, you know, in different areas, their heritage is that comes from a richness of diversity of culture. And that's the perspective I sort of want to paint that, so that those that don't know sort of understand that the Black history stems from such a beautiful, beautiful race. And there's so much to learn. I could go on and on. Is it rhythm and dance? Rhythm and dance to us is more than just entertainment. It's cultural. Like back in the days, then you dance and you're sending a message to someone through dance. Or there's a marriage ceremony and the dance means something, or you're dancing and it's like a sort of spiritual connection. So some of these things are inherent in the Black person. And so when he shows up on the global scene, they begin to exhibit this, and the world is blessed for the dispersion of the Black people all over the world. So the Black history is beautiful, and I just thought to share that. That's my perspective on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ijeoma. It was very well said. Amaka, how does Black history impact your present growth?
Okay. So I feel like this is a bit repetitive because I can't say it enough. Black history impacts our personal growth for the basic fundamental reason that if we do not know where we're coming from, we would not know where we're going. Mm-hmm. So your growth is like, I can use the example that Ijuma gave. I'm so happy to have Ijuma here because it feels like she just has the same thought process with me. So when she says what I want to say, I'm like, yes, I'll just follow through on that line. Mm-hmm. So let's use the seed Ijuma mentioned about growth. So when you see a beautiful tree or flower or plant, and you're admiring this tree or flower or plant, you have to remember it was once a seed. It mm-hmm. was buried deep in the soil that didn't smell good or didn't look good. And then now you have this, somebody had to water it, take care of it, put the manure or fertilizer, and then voila, you have a beautiful tree or plant or flower. So this is, the Black history is important for growth because history simply means like origins, where you're coming from, what it used to be. So this helps to mold us into what we are today. When you realize there's people that died, sacrificed things, went above and beyond to give you this, in the example of the African Americans living in America or in the UK, freedom. You realize that people like Rosa Parks had to insist on not getting up on the train so that Black women, can sit in trains today beside a man. So when you realize that your history helps you to become the person you are today, you're not going to play with your history. History helps to mold us for today. History teaches us about our forefathers, what they went through, like Ijoma said. Again, culture, cultural practices, what they mean. Not every song or every dance is just for entertainment. Some of these things, like she said, in Nigeria, we have a tribe in Abia State, Ohafia. A lot of their dances are war dances. These dances were used as a sign of like a courage building theme for when the warriors were going to fight. And then when you see people dancing these at ceremonies or events, yes, it's entertaining, but it means something. So if you learn this history, you learn where it's, why these things are or what they were, it helps you to reposition your mind into what you're doing now. When people lose their lives or give up or went to jail, in the case of Nelson Mandela, spent 27 years in jail. When you learn about the sacrifices of people, the struggles people went through, everything people did to get you to where you are, it's going to help to build your thought process, your dreams, your desires. It's going to give you the resilient fighting spirit to never give up, to continue to persevere, to continue to fight and put your foot down. I personally, of course, none of my parents, were in the slave times, but I think our parents in Nigeria here fought in the Biafran Civil War. We hear about, what happened to our tribe after the war. And some of these stories have helped to shaping the way we think. We have this resilient, I'm Igbo, by the way, that's my tribe in Nigeria. And there's always a joke made about Igbo people. They like money, they're very business conscious, but these are all historical jokes. They're not just jokes because they're jokes. If you go back in time, you find out that some of our grandparents actually, lost everything. Our parents even lost everything in the Civil War and had to start from ground zero. And then they're looking at people who they fought against, living off of some of this wealth. And they're not bothered by it. They're not like, oh, let's just give up, we lost everything. They start from ground zero and they build. And now the Igbos are one of the most successful tribes in Nigeria. I mean, I could even say largely even in Africa. And then you see young Igbo people like me, like Ijoma, like other people not mentioned here, continuing to grow, take courses out of school, not just stop with the bachelor's, continue to have multiple degrees, learn out of scope, continue to persevere. It's still because of this history that we know we can't give up, we have to succeed. So to answer the question in one sentence, where we're coming from is definitely a fundamental perspective of where we're going. So it's important, history is important for our growth.
Amaka, another question would be for you as well. Can a Black woman today succeed sustainably? And what does it mean to be a Black successful woman in today's world?
Can a Black woman succeed today? Yes. Look at Ijoma, look at me, look at Oprah, look at Mo Abudu, look at Beyonce, look at Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. We can go on and on. Yes, a Black woman can succeed today, but a Black woman needs to first reorientate her mind from traditional norms and beliefs of the limits of a Black woman and start to push beyond these limitations of cultural and societal boundaries. And even if you do not have personal relations with your mentor, I do not have personal relations with Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. but she's one of my mentors. So I look at people like that. I look at how they started. I look at how resilient they are. We all know how Dr. Ngozi has become the first DG of the WTO. I mean, you can imagine what she had to go through to get this position. So to answer the question, if you think about can a Black woman succeed, first look at all the successful Black women around you. Don't think about it too hard. Don't look too far. Just look at your moms, look at your aunties, look at you. It doesn't even have to be in the professional sphere. Like Ijeoma said, her mom is her biggest inspiration. That tells you one thing. You don't necessarily have to be the DG or MD or CEO, by just being a successful mom, able to juggle and balance out raising 6 successful, stable, thriving children, and have a happy home, and this children are successful. That's enough success. And then if she also had a 9 to 5, that's even better. Or she had a business, trade business or anything. So yes, a Black woman can succeed. I forget what the second question is again. Something about the world, the corporate world, about the woman succeeding.
If they can succeed in the corporate world.
Yes, as a follow through from the first answer, yes, in the corporate world, there's going to be a lot of barriers. There's going to be a lot of obstacles. There's going to be second guessing your ability and potential. Like it or not, yes, the world has evolved beyond what it was in Rosa Parks' days. But the truth is, even today, a woman of any color, it's not even a Black woman thing. Yes, we're speaking about Black women because it's Black History Month, but even broadly speaking, a woman's ability to succeed in the corporate world is most times second guessed. So yes, a woman can succeed. How do you succeed? Refuse to listen to the noise around you, silence the sound, stay focused on what it is you want to achieve, continue to persevere, continue to believe in yourself, look at your mentors. If you have to print up pictures of people, Black successful women that inspire you, and put them in your bedroom or in your office, just look at them, read about them, research about them, take strength from their own struggles. Don't focus on the noise around you, because you want to focus on distractions. Yes, they are going to be. But then even if we have one woman at the apex of a company in the corporate world, that's an achievement, because we're going to have 2 very soon. We're going to have 3, and then we're going to continue to grow. So yes, a Black woman can succeed in the corporate world by silencing the sound, focusing on her goals, staying laser focused on her mentors, and just continuing to self-inspire and remind herself of why she's going where she's going. And then hopefully and surely she'll get to where she is headed to.
Ijeoma, Amaka just mentioned the obstacles, the opportunities faced by Black women. What kind of obstacles or opportunities have you faced as a woman in management and as an African female on the global stage, and how did you overcome them?
No, thank you very much, Gwen. And thank you, Amaka. Actually, you really touched on a lot of things that I pondered about and actually spoken about today, because I spoke earlier today on a platform called SPE, Society for Petroleum Engineers. And the topic was raising high achieving leadership in females, right? And a lot of the things Amaka spoke about were the same things that we talked about as well, which also leads to the question that Gwen has asked. As a woman, we can't deny the fact that there are obstacles that come across our way. And yes, we silence the noise indeed, like Amaka said, and that has definitely worked for me a lot in my life. But I would like to say as well that for a woman to get to where she wants to, when she silences the noise and she decides to climb, for the men on here listening and also women in leadership, you have to give her the chance. You have to give her the opportunity, because there has been a lot of systemic injustice against women and against women of color as well. And that is why an event like this is so important, because companies, policies, organizations, nations need to actually make it an intentional, deliberate attempt to right that wrong. And so when Ijoma or Amaka or Gwen decides to say, I'm going to shut the noise around me and I'm going to rise, you have to allow that to happen. You have to promote that, and you have to correct the injustice that have been done. I just thought to put it out there so that those listening should also know that they have a role to play in this. Whether you're a man or whether you're a woman in leadership, you have a role to play in this as well. Generally, as a woman, living in Nigeria, I have encountered difficulties, particularly because I work in the oil and gas industry. And there were times in my career that I had to supervise a lot of men, grown men, and I was quite young in my career then. And I'll be speaking to them, and it was as though there was nobody standing there, because I'm sure they're thinking to themselves, who's this small girl here talking to us? And some of them were traditional Nigerian men who feel like a woman's place is in the kitchen or is at home. But I'm in this corporate setting and I'm telling them, you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that, because that's my responsibility and that's the role I had been assigned to do. And I remember it was so difficult because that was my first job, just trying to communicate to people that felt like you weren't worthy to be listened to. And then you also had some expatriate men, because it was in the oil and gas industry. So you had some field workers working, and I'm sure they're saying to themselves, what's this young Black girl talking about, So those were some challenges that I had to deal with. But like Amaka said, I had to learn to shut the noise and realize that I'm not defined by people's perspective of me, and I'm not defined by my color or my gender. And in the workplace, if I'm going to be assessed, appraised, or defined, it is based on my competence. And as long as I was doing my job well, I was fine with that. And that is how I forged ahead some of those obstacles. Another major one I know that I encountered was being pregnant and looking for a job. At the time, it was as though you were diseased to be pregnant. And everyone will say to you, oh, this is such a wrong time to lose your job. I'm like, it's not like I asked to lose the job. They're like, because you're pregnant, no one is going to employ you. And these were things that we had to deal with, but all through it, I must say that I've also had a lot of success stories and opportunities, because, it's only when you go through challenges that you're able to share your successes as well. I feel like in the world that we live in today, now is the best time for women to arise. And I'm saying to any woman listening to this, women of color, women of every race, it is time for you to arise, because like never before, the world has realized that we need to correct the injustices that have been done. And so there are a lot of opportunities being opened now for people, for women. The world is a global space now. Okay, for example, like Amaka said, we're on here now because of technology and we're able to speak on this global platform. It may have been really difficult to have done that before. And so we must maximize such opportunities that exist now and ensure that even as the world has become a global village, you position yourself to be able to be a voice on a global platform, particularly if you want to make impact and if you want to have a positive influence. So that is one opportunity I would like to speak about. Also, I would also like to say that now is a time as well where, because there's a lot of efforts trying to encourage women to rise into positions of leadership. So for example, business schools are giving scholarships, to Black women like never before. You need to leverage that. I mean, it's not something I've shared publicly yet, but I'm happy to say that I am a recipient of one of the big major scholarships from Oxford University for my executive MBA. And I'm very happy because I know that some years down the line, that may not have been possible. Those opportunities were not there, but now they're like, we want to increase the participation of women. We want to see more visible women in leadership. We want to see women of color. And so my scholarship is an executive MBA scholarship for women in leadership, promoting women in leadership. And I'm happy to share it because I just hope that it inspires someone that has an aspiration that seems like it's too big for them, or they're not quite sure how to get about it. And those are some of the opportunities and challenges that I've faced in my career that I'm happy to share, and I'm hopeful that someone, gets a learning from it today.
next question was to Ijeoma to speak about your accomplishments, and you mentioned your scholarship, and wow. Congratulations, and tell us a little bit about your academic background and your future goals, your executive MBA.
Okay, thanks, Gwen. So the truth is, I went to school in, like I said earlier on, I went to school in Port Harcourt. It's a city in the south of Nigeria, and it was the University of Port Harcourt. And I studied geology. And by the time I was done with school, a lot of my friends went on to do their masters in schools abroad. And Amaka would know that was the trajectory. Most times you finish from university and you have to go to a school in the UK or in the US or in Canada, because it was assumed that most of the degrees that we get in Nigeria here, as much as they are good, if you want to be at the top, if you want to have an extra edge, you need to get a university degree from a foreign country. But I didn't get the chance to do that. I mean, it's a weird story, but I applied to a school, got into Imperial College to do my master's, and I was never given a visa until tomorrow. I just feel like, okay, that must have been some divine
Are you going
reason that
to the UK?
Yes, so I was going to go to the UK to do my master's at Imperial College, but they just refused to give me the visa. So I ended up staying back in Nigeria and progressing my career. Then I got married and I started having children. So there was just no time to get it done. And I didn't want to do the online. I wanted to do something that was a bit more immersive. And so over the years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, I hadn't done my master's. And I began to feel a bit of insufficiency, like, okay, yes, I'm rising in my career, but maybe I still need a degree. And I remember my friends and my sisters will say to me, you're growing in your career even without the degree. A lot of people get the degree because they need to grow in their career. Why do you feel insufficient? And it was a quiet, what was the word? Like a weakness, not a weakness, but something that made me a bit vulnerable. And I wouldn't speak about it, but I always felt like I needed to have it to validate me. But I never got the chance to do it until my mindset around it changed. I just couldn't get myself to do it because I needed it to get my profile up, because it felt like it didn't feel authentic for me. So I was never able to do it all that while. But I came to a point in my life when I realized the real reason why I wanted to do it was because I wanted to learn. There were certain things in business that I needed to learn, particularly as I was growing in my career, and I felt like I need to get it right. And I also wanted to get the global perspective, really. And so when I got my reason right in my head, I was able to get myself to apply and applied for a scholarship, and I got the scholarship. And today I'm very happy. I mean, I just started the program in January. It's been very intense, very rewarding so far. I'm looking forward to meeting new people all around the world. I have over 70 classmates from 30 different parts of the world, different industry, different race, different tribe, different perspective. And I'm just soaking it all in. I'm learning, and I'm also contributing to my cohort. But for me, that's been my journey, and I'm very hopeful for what the future is going to bring to me. I'm hoping to learn enough to scale up the work that I'm doing at the Purple Orchid with the social impact work with the women. I want to scale it up to a level where I can make more impact. So that's also one of the reasons why I decided to go and do the executive MBA as well, because there's a lot of training and coaching in that area. And then also my career as well, to just sort of get a new trajectory for the things I want. So that's a bit of it in a nutshell, Gwen.
Wow, I'm so happy for you, Ijeoma. So when are you moving or going to London? Like, how long is the program?
It's so thankfully it's part-time. I don't have to leave my job. I'm still actively working in my company, Mars Multi Concepts, but I do the module every month. So once a month for 1 week, I have to literally shut down from office work, shut down from home duties, and then finish the module and then come back to my life. So it works, and that's going to happen for the next 22 months. I'm going to be traveling to the UK this month, but some months I could do online, and then some months I will travel. But it's going to be a lot of back and forth. But like I said, I think I'm in the right time of my life doing it, because my children are a bit grown now, and I feel like I have support structure from my CAPS. Remember, I spoke about it.
Yeah.
So they're solid. They help me with the kids. They help me, and my husband is very supportive as well. So now is the best time for me to get it done. And yeah, so
Well,
please
I'm so
stay
happy for you. I'm so happy for you. Amaka, is this the same program you mentioned you want to do?
No, not the same program, but same story as Ijuma. Well, except the visa part. So it's the same thing. I have a first degree bachelor's from Nigeria, from a school called FUTO, Arabic economics, and majored in marketing economics. Everybody, well, not everybody, but most people went to the UK or the US, maybe Europe as well, and maybe Canada for a master's. I never applied because maybe at the time I just thought maybe I wasn't interested, or I wouldn't get it, or you need to be super smart academically to get it. I'm not sure, one or more of the reasons, but I never applied at the time. As a matter of fact, I think my story of how I became suddenly very enthusiastic about academics is just how I feel about marriage. So I put it like this: a lot of my friends, a lot of people I know got married much earlier, right after school, some even in school. And it felt like, oh, that was what everybody was doing. I didn't. I was working, continued to work. I had other things I was doing. And then much later on in life, now in my 30s, I get married to somebody I can literally say is the best man ever in life.
And
So it
I
feels
love
like
your wedding pictures.
yeah. So I feel like if I'd done it earlier, it wouldn't have been this great. Same story for academics. I didn't go to have a master's after school. Many years after, I worked in insurance, I worked in banks, in other industries, but always in finance. And then suddenly I just realized this first degree I have is not going to take me to the direction I want to go. I'm not even thinking masters yet. So first thing I do is I get a second bachelor's from a school in the UK while I had a job. So I didn't have to travel as well. And then I completed a proper 3.5 years, almost 4 years bachelor program online, just to change the course of, what I wanted to do. And then after doing that, between getting the bachelor's and starting an MBA, I took several courses. Honestly, I think I've forgotten some of the courses I've taken. And I have certificates in these courses. Every extra money I have, every extra free time I have, I'll just go check, find a school that is affordable, something around a price that I can afford, and I'll just take the course. And then next thing you know, the more courses I took on, the more interest I had to take on more courses. And I just kept on going and going. And then stumbled across the MBA as well. I was like, okay, I can't afford to go into a top 5 university for an MBA, not the Harvard or Yale, Cambridge, Oxford. So I said, okay, I'm going to try and get a top 20 or top 10 school. And then I got a good school, Queen Mary University of London. It's a good school. I didn't have to leave my job as well, because it's not an executive MBA, it's an actual academic MBA. You have to do it in a 5-year span maximum, because it's virtual. You don't need to come to the UK if you don't want to. You can just stay here and do it. I take my models
Sorry,
every
which
quarter.
university did you say?
Queen Mary University of
Queen
London.
Mary? Mm-hmm.
University of London, yes. And I can just take my courses every quarter. You can take more than one if you have the hours to fit in while doing your work. You can take it on, and then as long as you finish in 5 years. So I just feel like everything just came together at the right time. When I thought it was, when everybody I know has probably had a master's. 2 of my siblings already have masters for one, and we're just 4 children. So, but then I feel like I just got the best deal. I'm, doing this MBA that I like in a school that I like, the bachelor's I like. Now I get offers to a lot of universities now send me emails on LinkedIn or in my email. Hi, Amaka, we saw your profile. We think you're a great fit for an MBA. We're offering you XYZ off scholarship. So I'm like, okay, so now they want me. Oh, fantastic. So like I said, like Ijoma, I have the same kind of supposed late start, but actually having the best options eventually, So yeah.
Congratulations, both of you. I'm so happy for these great achievements. And we don't have much time for questions, but if there is anyone wants to unmute his or herself and ask you a question, we could have 5 more minutes for that discussion. Please feel free to type in the chat or unmute yourself. Unmute yourself and ask any questions to Amaka or Ijeoma. Let's see here. Anyone? Stories, and there's no more questions. My last question would be, what are your superpowers? And let's start from Ijeoma, and let's have a quick answer so we can wrap up the event. And
somebody sent in a question. Sorry, Ijeoma.
No, that's
yeah, Albina, great presentation by the speakers. The African woman has broken a lot of barriers and overcome some of the stereotypes, but we always have to think about the next steps and target. How do the speakers suggest we reach girls and women in the rural communities who may not yet have the opportunities to showcase what they can do? Great question.
Yeah. I'll take it. And thank you so much for that question, because I'm an ardent believer of legacy. It's not enough for me or Amaka to achieve, and we're not, building people with us. And in my case, because everyone has to reach one person at a time, that is why I started the Purple Orchid, which is the club, the mentoring and coaching club that I do, because while I focus a lot on the female professionals, I also reach out to disenfranchised ladies in poorer communities. For example, my hometown or my husband's hometown. And, there have been a few of them that have passed through our homes. And the way it is here in Nigeria, sometimes a family living back in the rural area, they don't have enough money to send the children to school, and they send them to the cities to come and work as nannies. And a few of them have actually come to our house and got admission into school. We made sure they got admissions into university, and we put them through university, and they did their youth service and started little businesses. And 2 of them are married now with children running their businesses. And these are just examples of a few of these things that are done. So for me, I will say to every woman, find your 1, 2, 3, 4 people that you're able to impact within your sphere of influence. Some people may never have the opportunity to have a massive platform where you're coaching and mentoring or raising and empowering 1,000 women. But what if you start with 3 or 2, or the 1 lady that comes into your house and you empower her with a skill? She's not just taking care of your children alone, but you're teaching her if she wants to learn something in the beauty space, or she wants to go to school, and then she's able to get an education and alleviate herself and her family from that. And I think if each of us reach one, we will make an impact. That's definitely what I'll say,
Great. Can I add to that as well? That's actually a fantastic way to do it. It's teaching by example. I would say monkey see, monkey do. Your successful people come and live in your house. They see how you work, how you navigate your day, and then they learn by seeing, and then of course you get to speak with them. Another way I think we can reach some of these girls in the rural communities will be also intentional reach outs. We can, I think more successful African women, Black women, Nigerian women need to come together and collaborate and have platforms or outreaches targeted intentionally at girls in the rural communities. Thankfully, the social media the advent of the internet, social media is going far and wide, even to the rural communities. Presentations like this, topics like this, discourses like this need to be put out there a lot more. We need to start replacing what the young Black girl in the rural community sees on her phone, on her TV, with seeing Black women who are successful, talking about stuff, teaching a skill, showing work, so we need to start putting all of our work out there as well. Because obviously, the more light that shines into a room, the less darkness you have. So we have more Black successful women on, social media, on TV, on the radio. The more these girls hear, oh, there's this woman I hear about, I can see this woman. It doesn't have to be professional as far as white collar, blue collar. That's why I'm happy about the Mo Abudu example with Harvard. This is entertainment. There's other women who are doing other stuff, crafts. There's Tara Fela Dorotoye with the makeup, and she's on Forbes, and she just has a makeup line, but she's successful. She's a mentor to a lot of young women from doing makeup. There's people who do hair. There's the Bella Nigeria lady, Uche, I forget her surname now. She's also quite renowned. She was listed on Forbes as well. She has a social platform where she talks about weddings, showcases weddings in Nigeria. So I think one way is to put a lot of our content on audio visuals and social media, so that as far as this communications go to the rural communities, these girls can see. The second one will be intentional collaborations, to have outreaches where, you have, I was on a course. I remember one course I did now. I did a course with Bright Network where we're speaking about exchange students. I think we did it with Gwen. Gwen, you remember our project with United Plants?
Yes.
When we're speaking about how to reach students in the rural communities, and we're saying virtual exchange programs where, now you can have girls physically travel, but then you can have in these schools, you can have technology where these students can have exchange programs and learn from girls in other more developed urban parts of the world. My immediate younger sister, has a foundation, soon to become an NGO, where she also goes out to local communities to give, food, clothing, sanitary pads and all of that to young girls who can't afford them. And I'm thinking of collaborating with her and then making it more. And then thankfully, Ijuma has something. So I think we can work together and actually flesh out even something better. So I think more intentional outreaches to the rural communities, not just hoping that they hear it on TV, but intentionally taking one community at a time, and then having virtual synergies with women who are successful in other states and promoting, more local outreaches. I think that way, one day at a time, would influence more girls in the rural community.
As you mentioned about community, Amaka, I want to add that I am launching the virtual platform. This is going to be an invitation only platform for business professionals. Free platform, because I've noticed if you want to join the professional association, it costs money and it costs a lot. And if you want to join more than one, it may cost thousands of dollars, at least in North America. And this is an invitation only opportunity where I interview the candidate, because I want this to be mutually beneficial, and I want this to be the source of support to the business professionals. I am willing to help you, but if I need support or mentorship or peer-to-peer help, I want you to be there for me to help. So that's the idea of this platform, and the name is JANO, which means the Joint Alliance of Networking and Outsourcing. And Yanita shared this information in the chat if you want to book a meeting, an interview with me, and if you are ready to help others, to share knowledge, your experience, to do mentorship, for free. There's no monetary involved. It's all free, and it's going to be global platform for all professionals who are willing to do this for free, to mentor others who are aspiring or experienced. Email me at gwen@speakersalliance.ca and you will be able to book the meeting with me. I want to wrap up the meeting. Thank you so much, Ijeoma and Amaka, for your very inspirational and motivational stories. I very much appreciate your time and willingness to join us. Thank you, Janita, for managing the chat. So if you have any further questions, please email me at gwen@speakersalliance.ca. As mentioned, the next guest will be Ijeoma's mother, and one great lady from the global chapter. I will share the flyer later this week, and it will take the place next week. I first have to discuss about the timing with Ijeoma's mother and another speaker, and then we will have another networking event, and we will celebrate International Women's Day in March. So I will send out the email with all the participants if you're willing to be featured. If you are a woman who want to speak about your personal achievements and challenges, you're welcome to send me an email. I want this chapter to community oriented and not to have just famous speakers featured, but to have the community members featured as well, because you're famous and we appreciate your achievements too. So that's my intention for 2022. And my intention is to have more team members like Janita. Thank you so much, Janita. You are a rock star. Thank you for always being so supportive and
Thank you,
helpful.
Anita.
And thank you everyone for joining us today. I will publish this recorded video later this week, and you will have a chance to reshare it and to tell more and more people around the world about Amaka and Ijeoma.
Thank you so much, Gwen. And thank you everyone that logged on, that joined in. Thank you for being here with us today. And well done, Gwen, with all the work that you do.
Oh, thank you.
Well appreciated.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
and bye-bye.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.